You have just met this guy online and you are having the feeling, I think I want to know this guy better. Then you have to start asking very serious questions, questions that would lead you to know him a little more, questions that would make you understand him, questions that would make you take the decision. This is what I want and this is what I want to pursue. These questions would help you prevent any future delays because these questions will guide you to know the exact truths you need to know about him. If you want to know more about these questions, then stick and stay. If you are new here, my name is Rita Siao. I am an educator, a public speaker, and also the founder of a non-profit organization, Feminine Star Africa, an NGO that is working to empower young women and girls. My channel is actually revolving a lot. It's about relationship, marriage, motherhood, and personal development. Anything that I can share from my personal experience that would empower women, I love to share. Before I outline the questions you should ask him, I want to first encourage you, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to this channel and also click it on the notification bell so that anytime a new video is up, you will be notified. To all of you who are new subscribers, hello guys, welcome to my channel. I really appreciate all of you so much. Thanks for your time and keep watching. Number one question you want to ask him is his marital status. Someone may state on his profile that I am single, I am divorced, I'm separated, but you should ask this person this question so that you have a deeper understanding of his status. Whether he's really truly single. Someone could say I am separated, but it means they are not divorced. So you don't want to just assume that the person is divorced and that is it. No, you need to ask these questions so that the person can further explain what his status is. If he is single, you know that he's really single without seeing any other person and it is just you and him starting a new relationship. It could be that he's single, but then he had a child with someone. So you need to ask questions to be able to get the clarity of the person's status. The next question you need to ask is, what kind of relationship are you looking for? You need to ask this question because it will lead you to establish the sort of relationship both of you are looking for. If you are going in with the mindset that I'm looking for a relationship that would lead to marriage, and he is just coming in with the mindset that I am just coming in to know someone to have fun with, then that will not lead you to where you are going. So you need to ask the question, what sort of relationship are you looking for? This will help you know if you are both on the same page or whether this is just a dead end. Then you don't even have to pursue this person at all. You just end it right there after having a deeper understanding of what he is looking for. The only thing that can sustain a relationship that moves from online to distance is communication. So you also need to ask, how shall we maintain communication? Communication is very vital. That is the only thing that can sustain both of you. Chatting, calling, video calling, and persistently, staying in touch, getting to know the person more, getting to understand the person's situation, and then planning. All this planning and any other thing that will succeed would only work through communication. So you have to establish a means through which you two will be communicating. Is it going to be through WhatsApp videos? Is it going to be through phone call? What means are you two going to use to stay in touch? You have to establish this as well, so that if one is not communicating with the other, you know that there is something wrong. You should also establish how often, the frequency of your conversations. The other person might actually have a very tight schedule, but if you two are able to plan your communications, as in when you would be talking, when you'll be making calls, or when you'll be just texting or chatting, or when you'll be making video calls, then it helps you to not feel like, oh, he's not communicating with me, or something of that sort. You should also ask, what are your expectations for this relationship? Setting expectations for your relationship actually sets the tone for your conversation, as in what to talk about, what not to talk about, what not to waste time on. So you need to set expectations for your relationship. You need to establish what his expectations are and what your expectations are. This helps you to know how your conversation would be flowing. It also helps you to know what to invest into the relationship and what not to invest into the relationship. It also helps you to know that, yes, I think we are meeting our milestones as this relationship is going on. So it's working, or we are not meeting these expectations. I think we should just end it right here so you don't have to waste each other's time at all. The next item I want to look at is timeline. You have to ask him, what is your timeline for this relationship? A relationship without timeline is like a traveler who has no destination. It's like you are just going in and sitting in a vehicle and expecting the driver to take you somewhere good, hopefully. You don't want to start a relationship in that sense. You want to have timelines. Yes, we have just met now. In 3 months, I would love to meet in person. In 6 months, we can meet in person based on my plans, based on what I'm doing, based on where you are, based on a lot of things. So you both must have timelines for the relationship you have just started. You should know that, yes, this is what I'm looking for in a relationship. And because of what we are both looking for in this relationship, these are our timelines. We want to do A, B, C at this time and at that time. Always remember this. Any young man who is looking for a serious relationship that would lead to marriage should never have difficulties giving you specific timelines as to what he wants to do, especially meeting you in person. This young man who claims to be very serious shouldn't be confused about when he wants to get married. If he's confused and doesn't really know when he wants to get married, then he's not ready. You don't want to waste your time with such a person. Doing this really helps because it gives you a sense of direction. So you don't feel like you are in the relationship alone. You feel like you both are in this and you have timelines to follow through to get to your destination. Another very important question you want to ask is willingness to relocate. Is the person willing to relocate, or are you willing to relocate? One of you at least must be very willing to relocate, because any relationship that you start online, definitely you would have to meet in person. Then when things begin to take shape, you get to the point where you decide, yes, we want to get married. And when marriage comes in, there is no way that one person will stay at one side and the other will be at the other side. Like, one will be in one country and another one will be in a different country, and you think the relationship or the marriage would work perfectly like that, and you will just be traveling in between and visiting. It can work. We did that. We were married for 2 years and he was visiting and I was visiting, but it was too expensive. It was strenuous. I had to travel 6 solid hours to get to the city before I can process my visa, and it is a lot of issues. So most of the times he had to do the visiting. You don't want to have all these complications, okay? That is why you need to ask if the person is willing to relocate. For us, we decided that we would stay apart for 2 years because I had just gotten a job and we wanted me to settle in the job, do the job for quite a while before I relocate. So whilst we were doing that, he was coming more often, and then finally we had to do the relocation. So all I'm trying to say is this: one must be willing to relocate. Even if you are in the same country, one must be able to relocate to the other side. This willingness, this agreement must be established right from the beginning. So it should be a question you should ask, something you two should talk about and have an amicable understanding. The next thing you need to ask about is hobbies. What are his hobbies? What hobbies does he enjoy? You don't want to, get married to someone who has this terrible hobby that you can't, you can do away with it. You just can't get him to stop it. So make sure that you understand his hobbies. What are his hobbies? Are his hobbies things that you're also interested in doing? Imagine that someone's hobby is gambling. He will gamble all your money away and you'll be stuck and not know what to do. Hobbies are sometimes like addictions. And if you're not careful, somebody might be addicted to a very horrible and toxic habit like gambling, which you don't have any control over. And you don't want to go into such a thing. So always find out about the person's hobbies. The more common interests you share, the better chance you stand at being compatible. If you don't do your homework well, if you do not ask all these questions and you finally get married to this person and he has these horrible hobbies, what will be your fate and what will you do? The next question I want you to ask him is with whom and where he lives. You need to know where he lives and with whom he lives. The reason being that there are people who have different accommodation issues. There are some people who are homeless. There are other people who are sharing apartment with other people, meaning they have roommates. There are some people who are still living with their parents because probably that is the best option for him. In Europe, especially, it is quite difficult and quite expensive to rent a house or to buy a house. So someone who is not earning much might decide, I think I can just stay with my parents until I get a better job and I can rent a house or buy a house. So every person's accommodation situation is absolutely different. What I'm trying to say here is ask and know where he is living and why, and with whom he is living. This is for you to understand. Is he living with his family? Is he sharing apartment with somebody? So that you don't get surprised in case maybe you decide to visit. This is just a situation that would help him to be more open to you. Ask to see around where he stays. Ask him to show you places, like, just give you a little tour in his house or something of that sort before you even take the step or plan to relocate or plan to visit. Okay, so that you don't get there and get surprised. A lot of things do happen. You need to ask these questions just so that you don't find yourself in a tight situation where you are overwhelmed or surprised about what is happening, or feel like, no, he has hidden something from me. Ask these questions: where he lives, with whom he lives, probably ask why he lives there, and then he'll give you the explanation for it. If it makes sense to you and you feel like, okay, it's okay, he's human, I understand, this is just a normal situation, then no problem. But if you feel like, no, this is weird, this doesn't feel well, then you don't even proceed at all. Now, the final question that you need to ask is, do you want children? You need to ask this question because it is very important. If you want to have kids and he does not want to have kids, then there will be a big, big issue. Some people can lie to you, yes, I want to have kids, but after marriage, before they'll tell you, I don't really want to have kids anymore. This is why you two have to really talk about it and have an amicable understanding before you even take the step. Because somebody might decide that I don't want to have kids because of my age. If he's saying he doesn't want to have kids because of his age issues or health issues or whatever, you understand and you know that this is something I can live with. I think I can accommodate this. I think this is okay. Or you two can decide, yes, even though we can have our biological kids, we can go into adoption, which is a very, very fantastic option. But if the person tells you from the onset he doesn't want to have kids, then you should have an understanding that this person doesn't want to have kids, not even adoption, and this is his situation. If you can deal with it, you go on. If you cannot deal with it, you know what to do. You advise yourself, right? So I hope that you have found something very useful from this video. I did this video because a lot of you have been sending me questions, and when I read through all the questions, I realized that you have a lot of concerns about what to actually talk about whilst you are in communication with this person you've just met online. Have you enjoyed this video? Do you like the content? Please leave a message in the comment below for me, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you are new here. Thank you all to my wonderful subscribers. I hope that we are able to grow and reach so many more people. If you find value in this content, don't forget to share with someone who might need it. Thank you all so much for your time, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.